Try to pile on more work to increase your bonus. Not gonna happen. I oversee a team of a dozen folks when it's fully staffed. We had a fellow move out of state for school, a lady retired to care for her grandkids when her daughter got sick, then 3 people promote up within the organization all within 4 weeks' time, so almost one half the team suddenly became unavailable. While I'm involved in the recruiting, onboarding process, management up to 3 levels above me tends to be a bottleneck. Each time someone let me know they were moving on, I informed management, and gave them a running total. We're at 84% staffing, we're at 66% staffing, etc. Ads were placed, first round interviews conducted by me and a team lead, second interviews recommended to the next level of management, and that's where the process suddenly stopped. For a week, then 2, then 3. It commonly takes 2-3 weeks after hire to bring a new person up to speed to start being productive, and perhaps 8 weeks for a new person to reach 90-95% of median productivity goals. The existing team was ready to pull together and work harder to keep up with the work, but I took each one aside and coached them that the heavy workload they were under was not their problem to solve. Yes, customers were complaining, yes, other groups in the organization were getting frustrated that our team wasn't getting things done in a timely fashion. I encouraged them to work efficiently and well, but to not put in extra unpaid time or contribute their own resources to projects. And, if anyone was insistent in their complaints regarding the team's productivity, send them to me and I would explain the situation. Middle and upper management across the organization started vocalizing about how little work was getting done. When I played the Uno reverse card that, hey, all we need is adequate, well-trained staff and we'll be able to keep up, and managers 1, 2, and probably exec 1 all have potential interviewees on the desk for almost a month, now. I started getting the stink eye from those folks. I found out later that one or a couple of those folks that I report to, and were also the next rungs in the hiring ladder, had proposed the idea that this team could run just as well a little leaner, so they arranged to find out. Opsy daisy. Metrics indicated that organizational goals weren't met because of their decision, but I was able to provide the stats that proved that the team's individual goals were met, and that in many respects per-person efficiencies were improved. My team members got their bonus, middle management failed to achieve, so no bonus for them that year. Too long did not read. Middle management tries to dump the workload of 12 on 7, loses bonus when we don't break ourselves to meet their unreasonable demand. Signs of a good manager. Not letting your team kill themselves so upper management can get more money. I have seen so many times where they will just leave the team short-staffed until everyone broke themselves trying to keep up. It borderline annoys me that this is malicious compliance and not just the standard way to behave in those circumstances. Trying to run leaner sounds like they're basically taking advantage of your team and see if they can pull it off with your team worked into the ground. What a bunch of a-holes. Opening parenthesis. Good for you for protecting your team. I'm stuck in a similar situation at work right now, where my co-workers and I are pressured to complete unreasonable amount of work. We're currently understaffed, so heavy workloads are affecting our mental health. As I read this, I was thinking that I'd seen this recently. It was posted as a comment to another story. That said, I enjoyed rereading it and the way you were able to stick it to management and take care of your team. Great job. You're the best kind of manager. Especially talking to each member individually like that and making them all aware of why you were doing it that way. Good on you for not letting your team kill themselves. Honestly, good on you for sticking to your guns and not only making your employees work longer hours to pick up the slack, like many other bosses would, but actively saying no. You're absolutely right. If the workload cannot be handled by the current staff during the allotted work hours, then more staff is needed. Not saying that trimming the fat, so to speak, is a bad idea at all times, since sometimes it does make sense. But cutting your department in half and still expecting the same output is absurd. That's a textbook definition of fuck around and find out great work. So last place of employment, our supervisor quits and they offered me his job. I asked for a pay raise and said, well, I would love to do it if you paid me for my work. They went around to their second, third, fourth choices all the way around and everybody gave them the same story: I did extra work means extra pay. Then they offered the position to the least qualified guy and he took it for no extra pay. He eventually ended up doing 20 plus extra hours a week, and when that made him grumpy, I told him in a large jovial tone, yeah, but that's why you took the position, for the extra pay. Just to watch the blood vessel on his head twitch. Alternative too long did not read. Op has a dozen good eggs in his team. Middling manager tries to scramble things up by not replacing the ones who leave. He was heard saying, "Elite them go." Op is hard-boiled about management's lack of progress in hiring replacements. Op ensures yokes on them. Year-end's sunny side up for the team and they still get their bonus. Middling manager was a rotten egg who doesn't get a bonus. Frankly, I'm a bit shocked that your team got their bonuses and upper management didn't. I've never been in an organization which worked fairly. What's more, I've been in plenty where OP's career would now be dead. None of those above him would ever allow anyone to promote him or reward him again. They would make his life hell and push him out. I'm so badly broken at this age, 50, I just about expect every company to work as I described above. I've been with my current company 15 years because they didn't behave so awfully, but 5 years ago we had a big shake-up at the exec level and now we do. I'd rather just stay 10 years and then retire, but I'm seriously considering looking for a better place. Yep. People need to learn to not work harder to overcome short staffing. Not enough staff. Stuff just doesn't get done. It's my experience that the only group of people that aren't missed when leaning out a company is management. Yet they are always the last, if ever, to go. Nice catch. I would have missed it and dug in to get things done in the short term, expecting the bottleneck was not sabotage. I need to remember this. Fantastic job standing up for your team. I wish every team leader was like you. You can only do what you can do. Working harder due to staffing shortages, intentional or not, only make somebody's poor decision look good. Good on you for being the good manager. I've learned that as long as the work is being done, management thinks that you don't need more people. They dropped a huge merger-related job on a bunch of us, and made it clear its priority. It's a real nice feeling to tell the project manager that yes, regular work isn't getting done because merger meetings took up the whole day. I'm all for stepping up if shit hits the fan, but those are emergency grade levels of effort and energy. You'll get a couple days of that at most out of me. Past that, you either better have plans to bring new people in or expect work to not get done. So I like this, GJ, protecting your team from upper management. This is a common mistake people make. Do not do extra work unless you are absolutely certain it is temporary and it is paid. This manager knew exactly what to do. Well done. No staff burnout for you. Opsy daisy. And middle manglement. So your management basically misled you, if not blatantly lied to you, about the strategy regarding your team's staffing. That sounds like a problem to me. How to work good if no trust in upper management? I feel like these middle managers have to respond of these lies, not just lose their bonuses. One of the best managers I worked for understood that even though it was a startup and we were highly compensated, salaried workers who had a lot of stock options that gave us plenty of incentive to help the company succeed, asking workers to put in extra time to hit a deadline needed to be a last resort, not standard procedure. Tired people make mistakes. One of the worst managers I've ever worked for thought it was just a standard part of his job to ask us for more. If we said it would take 8 weeks, then he would tell us it needed to be done in 6. This is the kind of happy ending that we should see more often. Didn't this get posted a few days ago? OMG, you are amazing. Immediately demonstrating that you had your employees' backs, keeping the receipts to protect them and yourself, and taking the flak while defending your people. We need more people like you in business. I took each one aside and coached them that the heavy workload they were under was not their problem to solve. Work efficiently and well, but to not put in extra unpaid time or contribute their own resources to projects. This is one of the more satisfying posts I've seen on here in a long while. The only change that'll come from this is that you and your team members' bonuses will be explicitly dependent upon higher-level management also meeting their goals. Compensation teams always fix this situation quick. This happens all the time in commercial construction. Starting with the PMs all the way up the shitty-ass food chain. Eat the rich. The worst thing we ever did was decide to give upper management bonuses based on numbers. Those arbitrary numbers always comes down to cutting staff and cutting pay just so they can have a bonus. It literally promotes being shitty and treating employees shitty. I fucking hate this world. Repeat after me. Your failure to plan, read, adequately staff your business, is not my emergency. The bad managers will gladly work you to death for their own benefit. Cutting staff is always their go-to since they are unable to trim any other way, letting yourself fall into the trap where you work yourself to the bone trying to keep up impossible goals only shows them it works. Worked at a company that would probably kill us if our corpses could work just as well. In 2 years we went through over 130 temps. They would fire everyone as soon as they were available for hire. then increase the team's OT requirement to 20 hours per week until the next batch of temps got in, usually 3-4 months later. This is what I tell people. Working OT once in a blue moon to help is fine. If it's chronic, that's a sign that more staff is needed, but upper management won't see that unless you don't go the extra mile and they see that objectives are slipping. You are the best manager ever. This happens so much. Except the middle manager sees it as their personal mission to get that gold star from above and skin, not fleece their employees. I knew what they were doing early in the post. Good for you. This could be an anti-work cross post. Nicely played. Halfway through your story I already know what upper management were going for. Even if this was not intentional, the default reaction for employees, pulling together, to make a miracle happen is that the miracle is now standard practice. If you can do it once, you can do it every time from now on. Document everything, and CYA, cover your ass. Love your story. Ha. They won't pay overtime. 5 people's salary and benefits are off the payroll, temporarily off the payroll, saving hundreds of thousands of dollars. Overtime is a paltry sum, but corps like to cut off their nose to spite their faces. Good for you. This is a tricky scenario and you are an amazing manager to navigate your team through it. Wish there were more like you out in the workforce. I wanna know why I never had a manager anywhere near this effective. So jealous. You sound like a good boss. Oopsie daisy. You are the hero we need and deserve. You really got a bunch of positive karma there for not being a classic slave driver. Good job. Middle manglement, take my upvote. I want a cigarette after reading this. And I don't even smoke. I was going to give you my free award but it's gone, so no, you deserve it. I'm reading this realizing I've been lied to by my management in the past. Pikachu face. Middle manglement. That's genius.